Big Biggie. 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 Big Biggie.
Do a top 10. $2023.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. So excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard.
All right, we'll save the best for last. What up, Collecto? Good to see you. Collecto 6 in the house, baby. I got about $15. All of them I really enjoy. There's no monetary value to this. Some of these are low grade. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buckle my shoe. 5, 6. Pick up 6, 7, 8. Wouldn't that be great? I can't really show this one. Oh, you know which one I'm missing, man. Shoot. Damn, I gotta show all of these too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I guess. Alright. I guess that's how it's going to be. Let me go look for my one book for a second. I like them all so much. Yeah, we might have to do it without the booker. There you go. Give one more look, see. I have to find it later. Pretty sure before I started. Look for it as meaning look for it with other books I'm looking for. Just didn't find it. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Yeah, that's all right. All right, I can't find it. I'll just tell y'all. So, the one book I can't find is a detached Century #1. All right, so this is top 10 2023 Biggie Shack pickups. The light week or light month, light year. What am I talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I got to detach one of these. We're doing top 11 because I can't make my mind up. Anyways, let's do it. All right. X-Men Annual 14 high grade. High grade 14, y'all. McFarland the Crow #1. Mints. All of these are going towards the 181. What up, God Tank, Ryan Riley? Kapulu, 1 per shop. First Wolverine. 3. I gotta save this for last. First Scorpion. ISM 20 complete. That 4 or 5. Pink Panther #1. Banger. Babe Ruth Golden Age #5. All these are not internet buys or local buys. A couple of them are wins and shit. Kapulu. This is a Flash Annual 1. I probably should have took this one out, but I just like it a lot. Glad I got that. Big Barda. First Big Barda. Mr. Miracle #4. And then first Monica Rambeau is my first copy. Got that one this year. And then FF48. Nice copy. The big one. And one more for the right. Where'd it go? So I showed 12 books. I'm going to do a little Instagram short, YouTube short of my top 10. And this one's in it. I wish I knew where that fucking Century was. I'll take the Flash Annual out. That's it. So these are my honorable mentions. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Collecto. Thank you, God Tank. We got Dazzler 1 mints. We got the first Nomad mints. Well, not mints. This Dope Amazing Adventures. Third Daredevil, or third Bullseye, and then the Flash Annual. Those are pretty good. These four were pretty good. Batman Beyond cameo. Newsstand Star Wars Union. That little newsstand thing makes it like an $80 book. This is Call of Duty Zombies. Simon Beasley cover. It's like an $80 book. And the first Iron Spider. It's pretty good little ASM key. So I did good this year. I got all of my minor keys I picked up this year. I'll show y'all my new comic book day books. Gotta get Kels to sign that Dazzler. Yeah. Last year's top 10 was definitely a bigger year. I had a lot more books to get rid of. But this year I was able to keep more stuff in the PC, and my collection's expanded a lot more. I got a lot more books than normal right now. When I got my GSX, I was probably down to my lowest I've been in a while. I got rid of a lot of books. Last year I got my first Brainiac, I got my GSX, I got my Punisher, Thanos, 180, my first Swamp Thing. So I really blew it out last year. But this year I went in chill mode because I knew things would be tight and shit. So all right, we got a couple. I'm selling all of them except for the 48 God Tank. The 48 I meant to buy. The rest of them I got at my LCS. So the rest of them are going to be for sale. The Dracula is the one I like the most. The Dracula's nasty. So it's a high grade Silver Age book that's pretty rare. I mean it's got to be over $100. I'm thinking maybe more than that, but so we got these books today. I got my second foil. I've never had that Frank Miller Wolverine one. I'm wanting to read this one too. I've had this reprint before a bunch of times. I don't understand this. Is this really the #1 giant size superstars? I don't know. I never had the original reprint. This looks like the other thing where it's like a 3-story saga with Thing and Hulk fighting and things like a boxer intergalactic boxing, and Thing ends up winning. So I gave the shop like $4 or $5 for this. I shouldn't have. I thought it was an ASM. It's a spectacular. It's got that big ass crease. It's probably a $2 book, but throw a dog a bone. You know what I mean? And I got another foil though. Check them out. I got me another foil. So this foil and the Days of Future Past or whatever the fuck. I got 2 foils. So good for me, man. Good for me, man. So I think we did pretty good. My top 10 is pretty gangster. Oh, my two favorite are definitely the Galactus and the Dracula. The this one that one's pretty fun. That one's pretty fun. So yeah, man, we got some good stuff. I think that I have a good auction. I got a bunch of books. That 181 is going to be on my mind. It's fun. I don't think there's any chance of Wolverine not being popular by the time I get it. If he isn't, then good. I hope it does go down in value. I'll drop the link in case one of y'all want to hop in before I get out of here. Steppo, if you ain't doing nothing. I mean, like, we're only going to be here 5 or 10 minutes, but y'all got something you wanted to say? Oh, what am I doing? I hit the Gmail. So I hope everybody had. I mean, I only got a few days left in the year. I'm pretty sure that'll be a good video. I would keep that Galactus. What's the Galactus? Oh, I'm definitely keeping the FF48. Yeah, the 48's a keeper, bro. That's the whole point. That was the only goal I had last year was the FF48. It's like this year. I'm just getting the 181.
Hey.
Yo. Oh. What's up?
Well, I love those books. Those were nice. Does your LCS have a Hulk 181 that you could trade for?
Oh no,
or are you just
absolutely
going to get
not.
the green and then beat them up with cash?
No, I wish my LCS had a 181, but unfortunately they don't. I'm probably going to buy one from eBay or my comic shop.
My comic shop is pretty. If it's now, are you going to get a slab? Are you going to go raw, or you don't know?
I would like to have it slabbed.
I would.
It's one of them tricky books people like to fool around with.
Well, with the fooling around that was just went on that the CGC addressed, which I was very happy. I'm sure you saw that. It's the big news of the day.
I don't know the particulars, but they did snap back against all the criticism, it looks like, right?
Yeah, these guys were all sweaty to throw dirt on them, bury them. And Matt Nelson responded beautifully to it. And if you read everything they're doing, not only are they going to go after that guy to prosecute him for fraud, which it is fraud, major fraud, but they're going to provide compensation as well. I don't know what else they could possibly do. They had to look at everything before they basically said anything. No, I thought their response was exactly what it should be.
Yeah, it sounds like that's good. If they find more foolery, then
They'll have to
have
keep,
to.
but they're on the job. I mean, but they're aware of it. They're up on it, and that's the whole thing. They're not trying to hide and be political and well, we don't know and all that. No, they're going on mea culpa, and they're going to say we're going to fix this. We're going to make everybody whole for it too.
Now, there are some more things that are like gray area, I believe, where people don't understand the full workings of CGC, but the way they represent themselves publicly, and when they do make direct comments and stuff is pretty professional.
Yes. After that acetate thing where they had that really wasn't very, very good when they were slamming up those acetate things. But this was really a dagger because what it did was it called into question the credibility and the quality and the truth and of what they were selling and what they were providing. And I think that they wanted to nip that thing in the bud as quickly as they could. There were guys that wanted to just, really were haters. They wanted to just, bury CGC. What's the point? I don't dig. I just don't dig it. I don't get it. They responded well, though. I think.
It looks like Macedon agrees with you. Are you one of these? No, I shouldn't put you in a box, but are you a big customer of CGC? Do you have a lot of CGCs you get made?
Uh,
Maybe.
well, the last time I sent stuff into the CGC, I opened up the box with Alan on his channel, and it was when the 7Cs4, 7C6, Exciting 39, various and assorted. My Phantom Lady came back restored and trimmed on all three edges, which was a drag. But it costs an arm and a leg because they charge a percentage. So I haven't really done that much. I had a Wonder Comics 15 I had slabbed. I had a Startling 49 further back that was slabbed. And then I just had the True to Life Romances. I think the brown, one of the nice ones with the gal in the green skirt. I just had that one slabbed. But other than that, I haven't really done a whole heck of a lot. And after the fee, I paid for those 6 books. I paid to have the resto check, and there was some restoration that was removed from the Exciting 39. I paid $6,764, 67.64 to have them done, to have all those things done with those books. $6,700, almost $6,800 is a lot of comic books to
They
basically
are in
then
your
have them
pockets,
slabbed.
dude. They must have value appraised your books pretty good. Is the Startling 49 the Bender cover?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a
That
pretty good
wasn't in
one.
this
So.
group, though. In this group was Phantom Lady 17, 7Cs4, 7C6, a Betty and Veronica 40, let's see here, and a couple others. And when they came back, they had assigned the values, and of course the values they assigned was the amount that I put on it when I sent them, because you have to insure them for all of that money in
Oh,
case they get lost. And so when they saw that, but then what happens is, and you have to watch out, because the value of my Phantom Lady 17 which came back a 4.0, which I think is terrible, but I thought it was at least a 5.5 or so. But when that came back, I had it as a 6 blue label, and there's an enormous amount of money in relationship to a 4.0 restored, trimmed on 3 edges. So then I had to basically argue about what it was to get a refund, because if the value goes up on a book when you send it in big, then they'll raise the cost that they charge you. But if the value of the book goes down, then you have to have a conversation to say, hey, I would like to have this. If you're going to charge me for the up, okay, charge me, but you're not going to charge me up for the down too. That isn't fair. So then you have to have a conversation. They took care of me, though, so I will give them that.
you said 6 or 7 books for 6,000?
Yeah, that was the value. The 7Cs4 is a 6.5, I think, and that's like, $25,000-$30,000 book or something. It's a very, very expensive book.
I don't
That
hear a lot
Baker,
of collectors. Not a lot of people say they get taxed that hard because we don't send in books that are over $1,000 or maybe $5,000 if you're lucky, So
but they were raw. The ones I had, and I'd had them for a very, very long time, and I didn't want to have my family, if for some reason I checked out, that then they would have someone try to come sneak in and basically take something from them. I had to quantify what they did and basically get them slabbed so there'd be no question. And that way, then you could say, well, hey, here it is, and don't try to mess with me. So
yeah, those are some serious books. I feel you, but you don't use them a lot. You just did them a few times. You usually get books slabbed. Like a lot of collectors just buy slabs already slabbed.
that's what I do. I buy slabs, but on my comic shop, I buy raw books from them, because their business philosophy is to rate them at least a full grade low. They do that on purpose, because then you always get a wonderful value, and they don't charge you an arm and a leg. They charge you fairly. They're not perfect by any stretch. No one is. The only person who was perfect died, and we celebrated his birthday on Christmas. But the rest of us aren't not perfection. But they do. I think that they do a very, very good job. I'm very impressed with with my comic shop a lot. But I was floored by how much the CGC charged me to have all of that stuff done. So that cooled me down on doing a lot of more slabbing.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I haven't done it yet, but if it was like same day and I didn't have to worry about shipping, and I'm very OCD, so I'm just perfectly fine with having. I'm kind of an old style collector, and I know a lot of old heads that collect. They just throw them in a polythene bag, and they just whatever it is, it is. And
Well,
but at this,
throw them into a Mylar or put them into one that's going to look good for you, not going to. Because a lot of guys, I've noticed that some guys leave them in the bags where they buy them, and they're these rimpled, terrible things. And I just says, get some put them in new bags anyway. Don't leave
yeah,
them in those. They look like they were cooking a pizza inside the bag or something.
pay him a little respect. I'm a big My Comic Shop advocate. I adore My Comic Shop products. But every now and then, certain books they have are valued even higher than eBay.
That's right.
And 181 is definitely one I've noticed. It's 1,500 plus on every shot I've seen. So
Okay.
maybe one day they'll get one cheaper. It could happen, but as of now, I'm lurking eBay a little more.
You have you have it on your want list. You can set the how you want to look at it, and then they'll send you a notification. But I think eBay you can do that too. But you might have better luck on eBay as well because as far as that goes. But I think that Hulk 181 might still have a little more room to drop big, and I hope that you're going to do well. There are enough copies of that. I look forward to you finding that. You've got nice books to off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buckle down and probably spend at least 1,800 or 2K, and hopefully with that amount of money I can get like a pretty good grade. I hope. I don't know.
You
I'm
should for
just
that.
wanting like a 2.5 or 3 or something would be great for me.
I would. The thing about that, and there are enough of them, you have a chance really to be picky. So if you find one that really presents better than a 2.5, which I truly believe you will find, I would be picky as hell, Biggie, if you're gonna when you're going at it, because especially if you're giving them cash money, I think that's money talks, and I think that's a good thing.
Now, I did find it easier when I got my GSX to find a low grade auction that I was willing to deal with the condition of the book and go through eBay auction. I did win my GSX on an auction. It was like 960 or something. I was ready to go to like 1,100 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I just put my max bid in and got it. So I am going to like watch for low grade auction 181s because it seems like that's a pretty good way to snag one. But then it's risky because there's a lot of these fake 181s out there.
Hopefully there aren't as many as people think, and if you're going with a reputable dealer to buy it, they'll back up their product. That's one of the benefits you had with My Comic Shop. If there was a problem, you said, "Hey, there's a problem." You send it back, there'll be no problem from them. I know that for a fact. But
oh yeah, they would be easy to deal with. My comic
mm-hmm.
shops.
That's a benefit. But we can't. They're saying that the CGC said there was probably 100 or 200 books, give or take, and they're going to basically lay out which ones they are as best they can to see, because when they've got to get this thing, it's going to take a while for them to figure it all out. And they actually have a link where they say, well, if you know about something or if you think there's something, let us know and we'll follow up on it right now. So I don't know, short of giving blood, I don't see how they could do any better than what they did. But you're in the driver's seat. No, but you're in the driver's seat for the 181 for sure, because there are enough of them and you can afford to be picky. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, for you, I think it's a good time for you to be looking at it right now. I really do.
I feel like there are some creep balls out there that are into taking books out slabs and putting similar books back in for a bigger grade. There's all types of shenanigans, but I love being able to count my pages and being able to tell if it's a real book in front of me and doing it the old school collector way. But then you got to think of like when I pass, how these books are going to be dealt with too. So you got to slab them and. One of them things.
That's the thing. I have, for example, I have had my Mile High Black Terrors and Excitings, and I haven't slabbed them. I haven't done anything to them. Well, Hialeah. I haven't done anything with them, and I probably will not do anything with them because very few guys that have Mile Highs haven't had them slabbed already. But it's going to run a huge amount of money to have it done, and frankly, I'm not about that. It's too much money to do it, and so I'm just going to ride along with it as far as that goes. Plus, there's one other thing that you can do too, is if you have someone that you're close to, for example, for me, I have a good friend who is a young guy, brilliant attorney, who is also a very big comic book collector. He's all about the super high end Marvel Silver, and very, very, connected guy. And he is going to, I put it in my will that he will be the executor for when the books are basically gotten rid of. No one's going to pull the wool over his eyes at all. He knows where to sell them. He knows to do all those things. And I have a compensation package for him to, on an hourly or on the aggregate sale basis, so that it's not something that I'm not asking him to do this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm asking him to do this, and he will be paid for it, because a good worker is worthy of his wage. And I think it's only fair that happens. So that's that's my peace of mind on that. Trying to ensure this stuff is Alan found out, and I found out, it's so expensive as to be you just can't do it.
Dang.
It's true. I mean, it costs you a fortune each year. I think Alan figured it was something like $32,000 a year
for just insurance,
just for 1 year of insurance for his. And then, of course, if you have a loss, then you have to establish everything and go through all that. So what I invested in is steel doors and double deadlocks, deadbolts, an alarm system, a vault, and some of them I keep off site, so they're not like in a bank. So in other words, you take the necessary steps, but I'm not going to live in fear or put bars in my windows, but I will have hardened entrances, and they'll move along. So it's a sad commentary.
That's why it's better to feel. I feel like I like sharing my collection with people on the internet, because you guys are at least 100 miles away. Like, you ain't gonna be up my butt, right?
Yeah, I don't live there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come to my town and take a couple of my floppy books, good luck to you, brother. You know, that'd be the day. But it's whatever. You know, like people were. I've knock on wood. I've never seen. I've heard of some real bad stories with like thieves but never like something like that. Like they come to you and take shit. Seems like whenever I got that kind of attention was whenever I was even poorer than I am now. Like someone came to my house and they took a PS2. They took like my video game thing, because I didn't have nothing. All I had was like a table, a TV, and a video game thing. So have at it. If you're doing good, usually you don't attract that kind of crap to you anyway.
Well, you try to be, you want to share, and then there is always the thing. Well, if you don't, I just don't. I don't care to do like people that there are some people who brag about it. Like Doc doesn't brag. A Man Cave doesn't brag. All he does is come in and drop gigantic bombs. And you want to talk about a nice guy that has beautiful, beautiful stuff. I mean, what a pleasure. The minute I saw, I said, okay, the competition is over. And some guy in the chat's going, well, we're not sure if it, are you kidding me? If that won't win in a competition, there ain't nothing going to win a competition. If you drop a Tech 27 and a Bat 1 on them, I mean, come on. Yeah, let's be real about this.
That Tech 29 he showed before the 27, that's dream machine fuel, man. Just even that 29, you know, like
he has the books and he has the eye for them. And he basically you know trades, and there are various guys that trade and facilitate guys like Yaniv and Lee Polanski. Lee is rather new in the business, frankly, as far as that goes, but he's shot right to the top, and he's a very nice guy, and so is Yaniv, for that matter. Both of those guys are really, really stand-up guys.
Are we? Yaniv is the younger guy that Doc always right? Am I tripping? That's his name, or is it another guy?
Lee Polanski's the younger one.
No, I'm
Janet
thinking
Sahel.
of shit. What's his name? He had a really dope car he got last year. Um, he collects stuff like cells, like he has Dragon Ball Z cells and movie stuff.
Oh, I
I
know who you mean.
remember.
I can't remember the name, but yes, a
Yeah,
big player in his
yeah.
Joker
He could get
mobile or whatever he
I
had.
think he
Yeah,
helped him get a his Tech 27 and stuff.
yeah.
Starts with a S, I believe.
Hmm. I can't
Oh
remember,
well.
but I know who you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. He's about my age though, and he collects. And then you got Simon's grandson. You know who I'm talking about there, and
I
he
do.
gets. Yeah, he's got some pretty cool connections.
He does, and he's there. Key High is one, and there are several others. Semper Fi Comics is another one that
Something Wong. Something Wong's a big dog.
Something Wong. I love that name, Something Wong.
Yeah.
How inappropriate! I love it.
I'd like to see his collection. I don't see him at all on YouTube showing off, but I heard he's got crazy books.
I think that sharing in the old days when you were a kid, you could go to your friend's house and then you bring your books or he bring his books, and you get to sit down and look at them and enjoy it. And of course, now that we're older and don't have that same sort of thing, now we can do it on social media where you can actually have a guy over to your house to look at your books virtually, and they can see, you can see, and I just really love it. It's wonderful all across the country for guys to basically be able to do that. I think it's wonderful. I really do like it.
I do too, and I'll hear like streams like when Legion or a couple other guys will be talking about comics, and they talk about the writers and the producers and the creators. And whenever I say like a person created a comic, I usually mean the person who did the cover art for that comic. I
Right.
don't mean the person that wrote it. So when I
Mhm.
say the Creature Bizarros was created by Joe Kubert, it's because he did the cover art. I don't even know who wrote the book, but it's that my way of collecting is like very, very topical. I don't know all the stories. I know what happened in the stories because I follow the keys and I do pick up issues and read them, but I don't go 1 to 100 usually. I don't do that. So I don't know every little nook and cranny, but I'm trying to learn things,
Well, there
pieces.
are guys that know what kind of typewriter Jack Kirby used, when he changed the ribbon on it, when he had the oil changed in his car. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't go there. I just like to know. I agree with you. Who did the cover? And if it's a great story, like if it's Dana Dutch with Matt Baker, or if it's Kubert, who did so many beautiful covers, war covers and stuff like that. There was one war guy that did a lot of the stories on the inside of that, and now I'm drawing a blank. It'll come to
Yeah,
me.
it was
But
Creature Commando, not Bizarro Creatures. Yeah, Creature Commandos.
right,
He did that. He did cover for Ragman, Unknown Soldier. I don't know if he did Sergeant Rock. He might have, but he did a
he did.
bunch of
Oh
cool.
yeah, Kubert did a lot of Sergeant Rock.
Yeah,
A lot.
Flash. He did some Flash.
Well, the Carmen didn't do, or Kubert didn't do. Well, back in the Golden Age, Kubert did Flash quite a bit, but in the Silver Age, it basically was Carmen Infantino, and I think Infantino made the Silver Age Flash his own, and it was
Yeah.
his
Well,
stuff is so beautifully architecturally. His work is gorgeous.
Hubert was still mixed in the first what is it called?
Showcases.
Yeah, Showcase 4 and the
Yeah.
annual one. So
Yes.
Hubert was involved on both of them. So I
Yeah.
count Hubert too.
Oh, I count them
Infantino did
too.
the
Definitely.
majority. Right.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. What would your top 10 look like? Have you ever got suckered into one of those? I've done a top 10 for year video for about 4 or 5 years now. This is like your first year on YouTube kind of deal, maybe?
Yeah, I haven't really done. I did one for Alan on my top 10 Golden Age covers for his cover challenge on his channel, and that's up on YouTube. And I have my top 10 Silver Age books as well are up. But those weren't for the year. Those were like for my whole collection. Those were the ones that I had, and the usual suspects were there. And so, but I I think that it's fun to actually have that to see what you found, and I think This year, more so than for many years, after the COVID bump crash, so to speak, speaking broadly, so many books came out and so many books were being sold that I think, for me personally, a lot of stuff came out of the woodwork that I haven't seen. I've mentioned this with before, like also with Alan, is that stuff that I never saw before, and lots of it, and fairly priced, coming out. And I said it's sort of like a lot of times if you get a book that you were looking for and you go, wow, I got really lucky. But then you're just getting lucky and lucky. I mean, there's just too much luck. And you just, a lot of that stuff has surfaced. This year has been for me, has been one of the best years I've ever collected, especially of late.
Yeah, I believe you. I had a really good year where I knew I was saving up for some big books, and I did it through.
Buying nice books to buy the nicer books. See, that's
Yeah,
big time.
yeah, and you gotta use them pieces sometimes. I mean, sometimes people get books without having this other PC stuff. I get a little bit less guilt when I use my PC, so I try to do it more.
I
But
have just done that. I'm in the process of doing that right now. The wraps will be coming off of that probably next Tuesday or Wednesday.
they're coming after your stuff, huh?
Well, I had to sell a bunch of stuff, and I
You
don't
told me about
sell.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how the thing unfolds. But everything that has been done has now been done, and the shipping has occurred or will occur tomorrow. And then, like the beginning of next week, then I will be in the behind the bomb site as opposed to a man cave.
Okay. Well, I made my mind up like 2 years ago, right? So 2 years ago, I went buck wild. I got 10, 15 major keys, right? I got first Swamp Thing, first Brainiac, first Punisher, first Goblin. I did too much, and I added it up. I was like, I probably spent about 7,500 AK or some shit within a
That's
year.
money.
Yeah, and I thought next year I'm going to go after a bigger book, and I just got FF48, but in the back of my mind, I'm
Nice
thinking like
book.
Hawk. I'm thinking like Hawk 1, right? And I'm thinking, what would happen if I didn't sell all my minor pickups for a whole year and then go from there instead of just constantly plucking, plucking, plucking? And that's what I'm going to do is just try to focus on 4 or 5 digit books instead of 3 digit.
I think that's a great goal. That's a great thing for your collection. And those are keeper books that you have, that you just, those are your forever books, as they say, that you have. I think it's a smart way to go.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep everything in front of you and keep track. Because there for a while I was selling so much, it was like, do I even have that book or did I get rid of it? I kind of got lost in the sauce. So I just slowed down, and I'm gonna pick back up though pretty soon. Probably next 4 weeks. It's gonna be a lot of that. So I'm gonna have to get out of here, but I
Okay,
thank you for hopping on. And the
sure.
next collector club will be in about 10 days or
Yep.
7 days,
Flying
and
heroes.
flying heroes.
Dig it.
So they don't have to have the ability to fly, as long as they're flying will be
Yes.
good.
I was looking at my Skyman and I said, well, Skyman's going to have to be in there. He'll be one of them.
Wings.
Well, wings, of
It's
course.
not a flying person, but they are aviators.
That's true.
If
I mean,
someone,
if you're in the sky, if the books have something to do with being in the sky, I think that's it, as opposed to the street level that we just did last time.
what do you think about possible Batman swinging on his bat?
Well, not in the bat plane, maybe, but swinging on
Oh,
a line, then Spider-Man's going to be a flyer as well. And
okay.
so will Daredevil and any other buddy that's sort of flying around like that. But I think like Blue Beetle, the Blue Beetle from the '60s, he's in the sky, and that I think would go. But if you're just swinging through the sky, that's it. Like Submariner would be, because he has wings on his feet like a flying fish, so he can fly. Wonder Woman can fly. Superman can fly. Martian Manhunter can fly. You could argue that Flash could fly too, because he just compresses the air under his feet really fast, and he
Hulk.
takes off the same way. But or Doctor Strange can fly.
Yeah.
Human Torch can fly. Those are
Hulk
that's
can
sort of
fly in the ability like Superman could before he like leaping buildings ability.
those early Supermans, when he first was just basically being able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, rather than the Hulk. Also, Hulk just bounced real hard, and he'll fly a long way just from how strong he could push, and
Yeah.
that's very cool too. So the Hulk is flying too, for that matter, but it's from huge bounds. But when Superman was right at the beginning, he was very much a proletariat type guy. And in the old days, what he would do is, like, if he had guys that were real crooks that had done terrible stuff, like there, and always is like in the same trope in a good story is when you have the final confrontation between the antagonist and the protagonist, the hero and the villain. It's always up at the top of a mountain or on the top of a building or something like that to heighten the awareness of that this is the big part now. We're all the way up. All the westerns, when the bad guys always go up the hill before they get killed, it's that trope, right? So Superman goes to the top of the building and he has a confrontation with the guy. He dumps a gun into him. He blows and all the bullets bounce off him. Superman smiles, grabs him by the coat, by the chest, by the shirt, and takes him out to the edge of the building and says, I'm tired of you. And he throws the guy off the building. And that's Superman. That's the end of it. Boom. Here, the other one he did was really cool, was that the miners were dying from poor conditions, and the corrupt union and the corrupt bosses they were all taking the money and they weren't going to do anything, and the miners were dying, and Superman found out about it. So he grabbed the mine owner, he grabbed the union guy, and then he went down into a mine shaft that was one of theirs, and then he buried him alive, and he gave him a couple of shovels. He says, look, you're going to work together and figure it out, and you can dig your way out. If you make it out, fine. If you don't make it out, you're dead, and I don't care. And that was the story. And they dug their way out. That's when Superman was not as goody two shoes and I'll never hurt anyone or anything like that. When Superman couldn't fly, and he didn't have the supervision and all that stuff, and he was just tough as hell. One story my dad told me, he said he says he was a kid he was just too young to be in World War II. And he actually ended up going here in Oregon. He went down to the Swan Island where they were building the Liberty ships. And my dad was a smart guy, and he helped electrically wire these Liberty ships that were coming off the ways, one right after another, that basically won the war for us, those Liberty ships.
Wow.
Yeah, dad's sharp guy. But anyway, he said we always were talking about, well, since Hitler's doing this, why can't Superman go over there and just snuff him?
Right.
And why didn't he go into the armed services? And Dad
he
said,
did at one point.
Yeah. And Dad said, he says, well, I remember the story when that came up. He said when Superman was reading the eye chart, he basically inadvertently used his supervision, and he read the eye chart in the office next door. So he failed the eye test, and they kicked him out for bad vision. And Dad always would laugh about that. So Superman outsmarted himself by reading the eye chart in the room next door, and they kicked him out.
That's what you were saying about fighting at the top of a mountain. It's like Batman 1 movie where they climbed the bell tower all the way to the top or whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. That the final confrontation will be at the top of a mountain or at the top of a building.
A lot of movies are like that, right?
The height, so this is the big thing. It isn't just like you go into an alley and shiv the guy and it's over. You basically go to the top and throw him off, or the guy dies.
Before we get out of here, who is anybody stronger than Superman?
No.
Well,
I mean, it depends. If he's in Red Sun and all that stuff,
yeah, sure.
I think that the only reason they came up with kryptonite because it became too powerful. That's one of the allures of Batman, because Batman always used to be that Batman would always get shot or beat up, then he'd come back and then beat the bad guy. With Superman, if he doesn't have to worry about anything, there isn't a whole lot of heroism. He says, yeah, I'll go down and kill the guy and then I'll be done. That, there's got to be some kind of challenge. Otherwise, there's no heroics involved. That's where they
I'm sorry. I think that I don't know the name of the story. I think it was called All-Star Superman, but they was comparing him to a giant like monitor sentinel being that traveled the galaxy and looked over entities or whatever. And what they basically said was that the thing about Superman is that his DNA, he's in such a small form, like human size, to be that strong. It's almost impossible to have even big monsters be as strong as him.
Yeah,
Like
it's so and then the other thing that he was like a gigantic battery, because when the yellow sun would basically, and they would use this like when he was in the Justice League movies where they had kept him inside where it was dark and he couldn't get out to keep him from doing it. And the first thing he did is he flew up into the sun, and then he basically just opened up again and repowered himself up. It was a wonderful thing. Made me want to cry, that Superman,
it's cool.
came back so strong.
Yeah, I mean, the old school, like, Golden Age Superman you're talking about, there were issues where he would sneeze and destroy universes. So
That's almost a little too much.
that's OP. That's more OP than that's overpowered more than normal. But to compare
Yeah.
like a Galactus to a Superman is like a Volkswagen to a Porsche or something. Like I don't
And
know.
then they have the Eternity, and they have the Watcher, and then they have Galactus, and they have all these real, Thanos, and they have these huge, not so much Darkseid. I don't think Darkseid was big. I don't know how big Darkseid would be either. But all of those characters that you're mentioning there, it's true.
All right. Well, we're gonna get
Okay.
out of here with the Collector Club intro, and I'll see y'all in a few days, maybe tomorrow. I appreciate you, Collecto, for hopping on.
Thank
And
you. My pleasure.
yeah, maybe I'll get Alan to do a top 10. Maybe he can get you to do one too. I'm sure
I would
he'll
love
do it.
to.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be fun.
almost the end of the year. It's a perfect time to pop one out, I think.
I think so.
All right, guys. Thank y'all very much. See y'all later, man.